So if you're not a newbie on my channel, you've probably seen this face before. This is Dr. Shadrach Dari. He runs the YouTube channel Diaspora Careers and Investments. I don't know any nurse or any doctor that is into finance and investments and property more than he is. And he's a nursing lecturer in one of the top universities in Scotland. So he's a doctor not because he's a medical doctor, but like he is a PhD holder. Today, we're going to discuss whether it's actually beneficial to do overtime, looking at how much taxes we are paying. And Dr. Shadrach has done all his research, and then today he's going to give us all the facts. Stop that. So welcome Dr. Shadrach Dari to my channel once again for like the 100th time.
It's only the third time, so yes, I guess I'm doing something right, and you like me, and I like you as well.
My people love you. My people love you, pa. So guys, I'll leave his channel details on the screen and in the description. Okay, so head over, and then you learn a lot from his channel. As migrants, mostly, or as health and care workers, I think most of us are obsessed with picking extra shifts, to get more money, especially because most of us are like breadwinners back home and we have to cater for, I'm not proud, but like cater for family back home and then also do something here and also save for the future. But some people also say it's not really worth it. You're better off just resting because the tax man is going to take everything. How true is that?
Thank you for, the opportunity to be on your channel once again. And I love your viewers, and I'm sure many of them subscribe to my channel, but if they don't, then, they are very welcome to follow to subscribe to get to know more about managing their finances and being smart with money, especially here in the UK. There's a lot of misinformation regarding, taxation generally. And I hope, our conversation today will, demystify some of them. For starters, is it worth, working extra shift or, burning yourself to earn extra money? The best answer to give is it's all depends. I know, we will talk about taxation here because the, tax laws are shrouded in some, mystery and all of that. But if you are working extra shift for the money, strictly for the money, then absolutely it is worth it. Of course, the time you give
what other reason will make somebody do overtime, extra shift?
I mean, it comes at a cost to your mental health, to time lost to family, to time lost, so you have to, if you've got a young child, is it worth, taking shifts somewhere, far away and then being away from them for weeks or, so you pay somehow. And of course, the time you are giving in, your body will feel it if you're not getting enough rest. And, is this even sustainable? You see? And I like this conversation because I know we've not spoken about this, but I think there are smarter ways to make more money than giving your time, because overtime is essentially what it is. You are giving more of your time for money. I think there are a lot smarter ways to make the money other than exchanging your time. And I hope, we would have this conversation. I know some people say that, it will push them to the next tax bracket, and so it's not worth it.
So talking about tax bracket, for those who are yet to come to the UK and they are clueless, they don't know what a tax bracket is, can we just briefly explain what a tax bracket is so that we can, talk about it?
Wherever you are in the world, taxation works very similarly, except, those in Arab who don't pay taxes and all of that. Tax brackets are usually progressive. So the more you earn, the more taxes you pay. So here in the UK, if you earn up to 12,570 per year, you don't pay any taxes on the income. That works out to about £1,048 per month. So if your salary is about, say, 1,900, you don't pay any taxes on it. So when I was a PhD student, our stipend was under, was within the non-taxable allowance. So I never had to pay taxes on my, stipend because it wasn't over the allowance. Now, you only begin to pay taxes if you earn over 12,570 per year or 1,048 per month. It is the excess. So you can imagine you have up to 1,048, no taxes. From 1,049 to, the next bracket, that's where, you pay taxes.
So from 12,570, you're not going to pay any taxes. And then from 12,571 up to 50,000.
Yeah, 50,270. That's when you pay 20%.
50,270. Okay. And then from 50,271 up to
150,000.
125,140.
Yeah.
that's when you pay 40%, and anything above that, you pay 45%.
Yeah.
So I think people's worry for most people that watch me will be not to fall into the 40%, because most people are likely to be paying the 20%, but nobody actually wants to be taxed 40%. So that's why they're afraid to do overtime, because let's say you work in a care home and then your average salary is, let's say in a year is like 35,000. A little overtime every month is going to push you to the next tax bracket where you'll be paying 40% tax. So is there any way where people can actually work overtime yet will not fall into this 40%?
And I think it's important to demystify, that taxation thing, because the more you work, the more you earn. That is fundamental. The more you earn, the more taxes you pay, and the more you would earn. Because remember, as we've said, they are the brackets. So if you don't earn more than 12,570 in a year, then you're not paying any taxes. If you earn up to 50,270, then you are paying 20%. So it is the 12,571 to 50,270 which is being taxed. Then it is the amount that goes over that from 50,271 to 125, 140 that gets taxed at 40%. Now let's stick to that, 40% bracket. Yeah, so if you earn, say, 55,000.
55,000, yeah.
Yeah. If you earn 55,000
in a year,
you don't pay 40% on all the 55,000. You only pay the 40% on the 4,730, which is the excess over the previous bracket. So it is the banding, So you can imagine it's like sacks. The first sack up to 12,500, no tax. It is the next one from 12,571 to 50,270. That is taxed at 20%. For those in Northern Ireland and England, in Scotland, it's a bit different, but it's the same principle anyway. So the next sack is there, and then the taxman will take 20% out of that sack. Now, if you have more money that goes beyond that sack into the next sack, then he comes and takes 40%. So it's not the whole money that is being taxed. Now, let us compare someone who earned, say, 50,000 and someone who earned 55,000. If you earn 50,000, the first 12,570 is not taxed. The next 12,571 to 50,270 is taxed at 20%. So remember, the one who earned 55,000 will have more money taxed at 20%, but it is the excess, 4,700 or so, which is being taxed at 40%. But even if they are taxed at 40%, they still get 60% of the 4,730. So that means they're still left with about 2,838, which they will take home. So there is in no world that somebody who earned 100,000, is worse off than somebody who earned 50,000 because they paid 40% taxes. They paid 40% taxes on the excess, so they would have still earned from that bracket onto that.
These days, there are some YouTube shorts where they go around the streets and then they ask people how much you earn, and this person will say, I'm a GP in London, compared with my private practice, I make 200,000 a year, and you're wondering how much is this person taking home because of this tax bracket.
How old are you? What do you do?
I'm 65. I'm a doctor.
Oh, nice. How long have you been doing that for?
Well, since medical school, so
Okay.
for more than 40 years now.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing roughly how much you make doing that?
Including my NHS work and my private work, about 600,000 a year.
I'm very, very sure they are obviously taking a lot home, even with all the taxes. So are there any specific strategies or considerations that individuals can use to minimize the potential negative impact of, falling into a higher tax bracket? Are there any legal tricks to use?
Yeah, I mean, there are ways to, reduce the amount of taxes you pay. Of course, I'm not a tax accountant, so if people want to consider further ways, then they should consult, a financial advisor or, an accountant. But even before we come to that, I don't know whether you've heard of this before. Some people feel that, you are better off, doing 2 part-time jobs or doing, 3 jobs that earn maybe 12,570 each, so that you are with it. Oh, you've not heard that?
No.
There's that misconception that, doing...
They think that every job is taxed separately.
Yeah. And so you may be better off with 2 jobs or 3 jobs that earn lower than having a big one job,
It's all your earnings, so it's all calculated.
Exactly. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So it's good you know that. It's your annual earnings.
Yeah.
The problem sometimes is that HMRC or the taxman does, so say the year is going and you did say an extra shift this month, or you did a second job this month, and you earned say £2,000 there. Sometimes the taxman doesn't know that it was a one-off. Sometimes they think that it will be monthly, and so they adjust your tax code. I've actually got a video where I explain the tax code, so people can head to my channel to see that. Sometimes they think that you'll be earning that every month for the rest of the year, and so they adjust the tax code so that they can take the right amount of taxes. So in that case, sometimes you are overtaxed, and you may be worse off than before you did that job because you've been overtaxed. Of course, at the end of the year, the taxman would have your P60 and then be able to tell that Nanel earned 2 million. Nanel earned, this much at the end of this year, and this is the amount of tax we took from her. If you underpay the taxes, then they will bring you in the new tax year. You get a tax code that has reduced personal allowance, and so you pay more taxes in the next year. But of course, if they realize that they overtaxed you, then you get a tax relief. I know someone who got £3,000 tax relief. I got zero. I got zero.
I've gotten one before. Right. I went to get married, I was doing overtime, right?
Good.
And I think after that, when I came back, I stopped. So I think when I was doing overtime, just like you said, they probably thought it would be something that's regular and consistent. So they probably changed my tax code. So now I was paying a bit more. So when I stopped, I think I was still paying a bit more in taxes, right? So during my maternity leave, I got a refund of 1,700 and something pounds, right? And that was because I was overtaxed those months. Yeah. So I think it does happen. Yeah.
Now that brings us back to beautifully into that question of how you can reduce your taxes legally. I mean, how you earn the money influences how it is taxed. For example, all we are talking about here is income tax from salary, but if you earn the money from say rental income, somebody was staying in your house and they were paying rent to you. I think the last time I checked, how home sharing policy is that you can earn up to 7,500 tax free. So you don't have to pay taxes on up to 7,500 that you earn for somebody living in your main residence. You see, So that is a smart way of not paying taxes on up to 7,500. But if you earn the same amount by doing overtime, you will pay at least whether the 20% or 40% taxes, depending on the tax bracket you fall into. So that is why I think that how you earn the money is also important. So of course you can invest in your own property, buy a place that you can sublet some of the rooms, and then you can earn that tax free. Another way would be through say investing in a stocks and shares ISA. Any amount you earn in an ISA account is tax free, and you have I think about £20,000 to spread over between a lifetime ISA, a cash ISA, and a stocks and shares ISA each tax year. Whatever income or interest you gain from those sources, you don't pay taxes on it. But if you were to put the same amount in your, say, normal account and you earned an interest there, you pay taxes on it, what is known as the capital gains tax. In fact, it used to be 12,000. So nobody actually earned up to say 12,000. Well, very few people earn more than 12,000 in interest from a bank account. But that has been reduced to about, I think, 6,000 or so. And next tax year is going to go to about 3,000. So it's reducing gradually. And with the high interest rates at the moment, you're more likely to earn that in interest. And if it is not in a cash ISA or a stocks and shares ISA, you're going to pay taxes on the income, which is the capital gains taxes. So you can reduce that by investing in an ISA account, is what I'm saying. So that is another way to reduce your taxes that you pay. A more smarter way to reduce the taxes you pay on your income is by contributing more to pension, because pension is taken out before taxes are applied. Pension is non-taxable. So assuming that you earned 51,000, you are just in that 40% bracket, you see. And of course, it is just that 1,000 or whatever excess that is being taxed. But you realize that I'm still paying 40% anyway, and how much I'm getting is not that much. So you can sacrifice that into a pension. So they deduct more into a pension, so it is not taxed. Of course, it's not money you're getting now, but it's money you get in the future after it's being invested for you. So I think, and I do that, So some employers have what they call salary sacrifice schemes, whereby you sacrifice a bit of your salary so that you don't, get into the next tax bracket. But of course, it's money being invested into a pension pot for you for the future. In fact, in addition to salary sacrifice, I also do personal pension through the S&P 500. I invest in a pension on my own, what is known as self-invested pension, private pension, so SIP. I've got a video on that also.
Oh, really? I haven't seen.
The good thing about that is that because it is you are paying into a pension, it is still S&P 500, but you are saying that I don't want access to this money until my pension. What happens is that when you pay into it, HMRC gives you back the taxes they've taken and adds it to it.
Really?
Yeah, you've not seen this. No.
I thought that if it is your employer, and then you're increasing your pensions, but I didn't know that your own personal pension, private pension, whatever, also comes okay.
Because they've already taken taxes on that, HMRC pays 20%, so I think 25% actually, into the pension pot for you, and it's all invested. Of course, it's not money you are getting tomorrow. It's only when you are 55. Yeah, but you get that money back. In fact, if you are a 40% income tax payer, you can actually write to HMRC and they'll pay you 40% in addition to whatever, because they've taken that taxes. Your taxes being given back to you. So I think these are smart ways, whether through salary sacrifice, increasing your pension, private pensions, investing in the stocks and shares ISA or an ISA account. In fact, there are millions of people who say they have their spouses with them, and their spouses are not work, or their partners, and they are not earning more than 12,570, the non-taxable allowance. You know that they can actually give you a part of that money, about 10% of it, so that the amount you don't pay taxes on is increased. You understand what I'm saying?
They can increase my non-taxable allowance because my family is making up to the Exactly. I think 10%, so that was 1,257, which will still earn you about £254 a year. Of course, not enough, but it helps, and you can backdate to I think 3 years or so. So these are ways you can get, in fact, there are so many ways to. I mean, and this is what the rich people know that we don't know. In fact, for some of these overtime people are doing, I know there may be visa implications, but if you have a company that you are working through, so Nanel Limited, that is doing this YouTube, for example, your earnings, I think that's what you've done, haven't you? I tested it after I got my ILR. Yeah.
So income from YouTube goes to that company. You are now an employee of Nanel Limited, of the company. So Nanel Limited can pay you a salary, and then you will pay income tax. The same thing we've talked about. You pay income tax on that. But whatever that is remaining remains in the company, and you can use that for your expenses, your electricity bill, your camera, your computer, so these are ways to reduce the taxes you pay. And in fact, company taxes is also lower than income tax. So you pay less taxes and you keep a lot more of your money. So
what about nurses who use what we call umbrella companies, blah, blah, blah? Are they also in any way reducing tax? Is it something that is effective? Because you hear that a lot. I
think this umbrella company is a third-party company that works your taxes for you. So if you're able to file, say, your fuel to go to work and all of that, they can deduct that as tax that help, save more. So
can you provide any case study, like example, showcasing the impact of moving into a higher tax bracket due to overtime work, if you're comparing, let's say, two different pay slips or PCC or whatever?
Of course, on my channel, I've done a video where I explain the tax codes, and on that, I actually use people's pay slips to show that people should head there, Diaspora Careers and Investment. They'll find that video. But let me actually use myself an example. So last month, I took 1 week of unpaid leave because I needed the time to do my own stuff. And so I earned lower than the previous month. Of course, I paid less taxes, but then I also took home a lot less money than I earned in the previous months. And I think that is how it works. If you don't want to pay any taxes, then don't do any work.
Yeah.
Or don't work more than, to earn more than 1,048 per month. Of course, we know that will not be enough for your household or for yourself. So I don't think it is any detrimental to your finances underlined if you did extra shift. The more you work, the more you earn. And what I think rather is you can find smarter ways of earning this money. These, non-taxable, where there are a lot more allowances, like renting out a room in your house, for example, or doing Airbnb, for example, or earning from stocks and shares ISA. These monies are non-taxable, so you get a lot more into your pocket than you would if you were doing all these over time. But I mean, for your finances, I don't think it's any detrimental to your finances. I've had all these misconceptions that, I don't want to work more because they push me to the next tax bracket. There are those who refuse promotions because it will push them to the next tax bracket. What are you talking about? I don't know a manager who earns less than their employee because they pay more taxes. No, it doesn't happen that way. So, hard work pays. So that's it.
Think about it, and then they should look at the other ways to reduce the taxes, increase your pensions, or even have a personal or private pension, whatever. Having a limited company, where maybe your side hustle earnings can go through, or all those other things, so that you can still save, take some home, and then all that. So thank you so much, Dr. Shadrack Dare. Your details here so that anybody who wants to contact you personally or go into your channel can have access to you. It's been a pleasure having you. We've learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.